To those stating, it is not my fight. This is why this country is in the position that it is today. The color of my skin should not matter. Whether I'm brown, black, purple. This is a humanitarian issue. We are in this position because there is no unity. We are not united. If anything, the other side, the one thing they're good at is uniting together. I want you to understand that hatred and racism is something that is taught. We are not born like that. There has never been a thought in my mind that said my voice didn't matter. Because together, we can move mountains. The National Guard is in LA. You think if your voice didn't matter? You think if unity didn't matter? There would be so much commotion? No. Mi gente, we are stronger together. It doesn't matter what color you are or where you come from. This is not a fight for just one. This is a fight for all.
Listen, AI just went crazy on Hispanic people after they tried to emotionally blackmail black people. And let me tell you, it went south real fast. This is one of those moments where you just have to sit back and say, wow, the truth came out louder than the lies. Stay tuned because we are about to break this down piece by piece, piece by piece, and you don't want to miss it. Let's get into it.
There's something very manipulative about Black people weaponizing our ancestors' fight for freedom to basically guilt trip their descendants into frontline activism, especially those of you doing this from the safety of your homes and the safety of other countries because you're not on the front lines. You're not at a protest. You're not putting yourself at risk. So to shame Black people for practicing the same self-preservation that other communities practice is wrong. And to my mutuals specifically who do this, those of you trying to weaponize the murders of Breonna Taylor and Botham Jean in order to push an agenda, that is asinine. It's tacky and you're disrespecting those people's memories. Basically what they're saying, y'all, is that they're poking holes in the whole argument that it isn't safe to go out there. Well, it's not safe in your home either because they were killed in their homes. How dare you guys use their memory in that way? And if you really want to get into it, the cops who killed Breonna Taylor in her home are the same ones that are going to be on the front lines waiting for us. They're already out there destroying their own property, beating up their own cars. They're waiting for us to get there because you all are spewing this rhetoric about how we shouldn't be sitting back and we should be out there. They think we're coming. So they're already starting that nonsense that we haven't seen in any protest until now. And what's changed? You all. You guys caused destruction and you think that you're doing something that's in line with our ancestors. Don't speak on my ancestors because they didn't go into things blindly. They would literally practice abuse so that they could prepare to get out there. You guys don't have a plan that includes anything like that. They would literally sit there. They would have smoke blown in their faces. They would be heckled. They would be abused. They would be berated. And they did this so they could withstand whatever they were going to endure when they got to the front lines. You don't have anything that includes that type of preparation going on. So stop talking to us about our ancestors. You're acting out of emotion. You see something that is terrible. Yeah, something that we shouldn't normalize, something that shouldn't even be happening, and you want to just go out and react. Well, you go do that, but don't try to push everybody else to their early demise because you feel emotional about this. We knew that this was going to happen. We've had ample time to come up with a plan, but solidarity is an issue because a racial divide is an issue. And until we start talking about that, we can't talk about solidarity because every community is plagued with anti-Blackness, plagued with racism, plagued with colorism. We can't get on the same page. We're not supposed to just emulate our ancestors, y'all, and just jump out there because they've always fought for everybody. We're supposed to learn from them too. Everything that they did, the actions that resulted in good outcomes, the actions that resulted in outcomes that we'd still like to change today, we're supposed to learn from all of it. We now have a history to look back on that they didn't have. That racial camaraderie that they had was very new. It was new when they did that. So they didn't know that the patterns of behavior that followed would follow, but we do. So we're supposed to be smarter than them. We're supposed to move differently. They would have changed course if they saw repeated behavior, if they kept seeing that every time they showed up, they were then thrown to the wolves after the fight was fought. That's what they would have done. But so don't speak for my ancestors. And quite frankly, my ancestors told me to sit down a few months ago. And until they tell me to get back up, that's what I'm going to be doing. But my point is, you guys aren't even suggesting anything. You have no plans. You haven't called on anybody specifically, any demographic, any community specifically. You haven't delegated any tasks. You haven't given any alternative solutions. You're just shaming people for what you think they should be doing and they're not doing it. People can still support small businesses from the communities being targeted. They can share GoFundMe links. They can donate to GoFundMe links. They can spread information. They can make content. They can keep their ear to the ground and let people know what's going on. They can hide people in their homes. Like, it's really there. Would you guys have hidden Anne Frank, or would you have told on her? We're really at that point. There are other things people can do, but every community should have a role in this fight. Don't tell me this is about everybody. This is an everybody issue if everybody's not going to participate. Because the only community I see being called out is the Black community. And it's always like that. I want our kids at some point to be able to open a history book and understand that Black people changed course at a certain point. They stopped taking abuse. They stopped showing up for everybody just because it was the right thing to do. Because when they needed it, nobody did it, or at least they didn't do it consistently. Because why haven't we seen the changes we should see if everybody is in solidarity and it's about everybody in oneness and all of us are together? Why haven't we seen those consistent changes then? Quite frankly, white people should be the face of this movement. They're the ones who are least likely to get harmed on the front lines. They may still get harmed, but they're least likely to get killed. They will target us directly. They'll try to spare them. So they should be in the forefront. White supremacy, racism, that is a white people issue. And white people, even though those of you who don't agree with this, it's still being done on your behalf. These are your people pulling these strings, and they're doing it because for whatever reason, they feel like your community needs advantages over everybody else to prosper in this country. So if you think that's wrong and you don't like the way people are being treated, you should be the loudest ones out there, because things change quickly when you guys demand it. That's what should be happening. The people who are being targeted, the people who are likely to be targeted, should not be on the front lines. You guys have no organization behind this because you don't actually give a fuck. You're acting out of emotion. And a lot of y'all are making content because you're getting numbers off of it. Because I see your comments. I see your content, especially my mutuals. I look at your comments and you guys like the validation you get from other communities who come in and give you accolades, because I see y'all liking and loving that shit. People are saying, oh yeah, see, at least somebody gets it. Well, it's not all of them. Some people understand y'all like that. And until you can rid yourselves of that need for validation from other people, you're of no benefit to the movement either. But when y'all start talking about plans, actual courses of action that you're going to take over a period of time, because this is a marathon, not a sprint, then you can talk to me. But until then, wrap this shit up.
Black people have always been at the forefront of the civil rights fight, not only for themselves, but for other marginalized groups. The civil rights movement of the 1960s, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and countless unnamed activists, dismantled segregation and paved the way for landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These victories didn't just benefit Black Americans. They laid the groundwork for expanded rights for women, immigrants, LGBTQ+, and other minorities, from affirmative action to anti-discrimination laws. These gains often started with Black struggle and sacrifice. However, there's an emotional and psychological toll that comes with always being the ones to light the way. Black people are tired of fighting for others who too often fail to reciprocate. When Black people advocate for justice and equality, they are met with resistance or performative allyship from those who later fall silent when Black lives are on the line. This leaves Black people to bear the brunt of systemic oppression, while others enjoy the freedoms of Black-led movements. And now, since we're silent, FAFO, that exhaustion is being misinterpreted. When Black people choose to rest and focus inwardly on their own communities, it's labeled as lack of solidarity. But the truth is, it's not silence, it's survival. Black Americans are drained for generations of giving their voices, their energy, their bodies to movements that frequently exclude them once progress is made. Black Americans have fought for their seat for everyone at the table, only to be left in a corner once the feast begins. Oh, the quietness it's not apathy. It's a demand for recognition, for reciprocity, and rest. It's time for those who benefited from Black struggles to step up and carry the torch. Not just for themselves, but for the community that carried them. Black people deserve more than a seat at the table. They deserve to feast in dignity without being abandoned or betrayed.
So I heard a word on TikTok today and it hit me good. They said, Black people are always everyone's emotional bank that people want to withdraw from but don't want to deposit into. And I tell you what, that is a word. That is a whole word, because since the beginning of the year, when we said we were on break, that we're not getting involved in any shenanigans, ever since then, y'all have been putting the Black signal up in the sky, trying to get our attention. Listen here. We are on hiatus.
We can relate. I feel like as Black women, we have to carry everybody around us. We have to make sure everybody's okay. But who's checking on us? Who's saying, I got you? Who's saying it's gonna be okay? You know, we have to cry on our pillows. We have to cry in the shower because we have to be strong for everybody else. And sometimes we are being attacked for being strong, being independent, because we have no one else to rely on. I don't remember when was the last time somebody say, I got you. You can breathe. I got you. So before you attack us as Black women for being independent, being strong, look at why and how we got here. If we were being protected, if we were being loved on, if we were being cared for, we wouldn't have to be strong. We wouldn't have to act independent. We wouldn't have to do a lot of things. So yes, you will get the soft, gentle, caring, and loving, beautiful queens that we are. We carry many, many, many hats. But we have to do what we have to do to survive in this world. That's why we are the way we are. Please and thank you. Now you have a nice evening now. Bye.
All right, let's start from the top. What really happened here? Hispanic groups tried to play the emotional card, basically trying to guilt-trip Black people into silence or into supporting something that wasn't in their best interest. But AI, oh no, AI didn't play along. Yeah, the machine gave a raw and unfiltered answer, and that's when everything blew up. See, here is the problem. When you try to emotionally blackmail a community that has carried centuries of trauma, struggle, and survival, you are not just gonna succeed by saying we are all the same. So do this for us. That doesn't work. I'm telling you, that doesn't work. Black people see through that. And AI, for once, didn't sugarcoat it. It basically said, stop trying to manipulate Black pain for your own gain. Black people online weren't having it. Oh my God, they were not having it. The reaction was quick. Folks were saying, look, we are done being the backbone for everyone else's movement while our own issues get ignored. And honestly, that's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. Too many times, Black struggles have been used as a stepping stone, but when it's time to return the favor, silence. Yeah, silence. And AI calling that out, that just that just hit different. Of course, Hispanic voices pushed back. Some were angry, saying the AI was biased, that it was steering the vision. But let's be real here. If you were really about unity, you wouldn't need to guilt-trip another community to stand with you. Right? Unity is built on respect, not manipulation. And that's why it went south. The conversation exposed that the foundation was not solid. And this is not just about AI or one community versus another. Yeah, this is a wake-up call. The truth is, Black people are waking up to the fact that emotional manipulation doesn't work anymore. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. We've been carrying the weight for too long. And now people are saying no more. Yes, no more. If you want real solidarity, it has to be built on equal respect, not emotional tricks. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, AI went crazy, but maybe it just told the truth that a lot of people were afraid to say out loud. Yeah, sometimes the uncomfortable truth needs to be spoken, and this was one of those times. The real question is, Are people ready to hear it? Are people ready? Tell me. What do you think about this? Was AI out of pocket, or was it just being honest? Drop your thoughts in the comment, because I know this is going to spark a big conversation. And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we have got more reactions coming that you don't want to miss. Okay, so stay tuned, fam. I love you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.